Hi, Francesca.
Hi.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for inviting me.
What's your full name?
Francesca Petrolo.
Got it. And where are you from?
I'm from Italy, Rome.
Oh, wow.
Come from Rome.
You grew up there or did you move?
No, I grew up there and then I moved here 5 years ago.
Oh, 5 years.
Yeah.
Okay. What were you doing back in Rome?
Same things that I'm doing now. Basically, I was a student first, and then I started to train people with kickboxing and boxing, and then also as a personal trainer and fitness trainer, because I spent all my life like working out, and then I did several certification in weightlifting, boxing, kickboxing. I am black belt, second grade, so I'm an instructor.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
What got you into kicking ass? Like, what really got you?
Well, actually, I love to ride horses. I always ride horses since I was 6 years ago, and I used to compete. But at some point, that sport is very expensive for my family. Or like riding horses and do like jumping with horses and taking care of the horses.
Yeah,
and
that sounds expensive.
Yeah, it's a very expensive sport, and so then because I love to be active, I just ran inside this gym, and they were doing kickboxing, and I made friends, and then I love it.
Were you always kind of hyperactive as a kid?
Yes,
very. Your parents were like, we got to put you to do something.
Yes.
I see.
Yeah, especially in the sport field. But my parents, especially my dad, pushed me like to do sports. I swim, and I have scuba diving certifications. Wow. Yeah, my dad is active too. He loved to run and ride a bicycle. So they share this love for sports with me, and then it became my job.
Wow.
Yeah, and I I was 16 or 17, and I start my journey in doing competition in kickboxing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then I like it, but just as an amateur. I never want to compete as a professional, not.
What do you think you were really good at?
Kicking.
Kicking?
Yeah. I really like kickboxing. Is more complete than boxing. I like to use my legs as well.
I see.
I'm shy basically in general, so even when I was on the ring, the first time is like you just tell yourself, yeah, you're ready, but also maybe I'm not good yet, I'm not good enough, and it's very emotional. You're like, I don't know how to explain that, but the first time you had to try, you don't know what you go through. But then the second, the third, and the other fights was way better. I came directly to San Diego, but not really. I visited San Diego before moving here. I visited San Diego because I was on a tour around California and other states in the US. And when I stopped to San Diego, I literally immediately felt that it was my new home. I fell in love with San Diego.
So you're here in San Diego. You're in school 3 years. You got a permit to work.
Yeah, and then
what was your first job?
Yeah, but I also after the English school, I want to say because it's really important. Mm-hmm. I study. I moved. Well, I was at the same school, but they have like English school and a university. So after I was done with the English classes, I choose a master in business administration. Oh. So I switched to the university. Awesome. Yep. Even for keep going with the school, because again with the visa students, otherwise I couldn't stay here. Yep. And so I graduated last year in March. I graduated the master in business administration with the specialization.
I don't have a master, but I got business administration, so we're calling.
Yeah, and the specialization was sport management. Uh-huh. So after that, I started to work with a no-profit organization, which I started a little bit earlier when I was studying, but as a volunteers. I was a volunteer during my studies with this no-profit organization. His name is Anybody Can Youth Foundation, and they have a boxing gym. So for me, it was perfect. I also start to help them coaching the classes, and I learned how to manage the employee, they're all volunteers, and organizes boxing events and the fundraisers.
Where is it located in San Diego?
It's located, we had two locations. The first one, the main location is in Market Street. Mm-hmm. at the very end of Market Street.
I see.
And we recently opened another location in Liberty Station.
Okay, well.
Yeah, and that location in Liberty Station, I was managing them, and I was
You're
taking
not
care.
anymore, or you are?
Well, before the accident, everything.
Changed. I see.
Yeah.
We'll get it. Okay.
Yeah, so
You're
I was
working
working there. Yes, it was my gym. I was managing that gym. I was always there teaching and try to organize open house and events, local events. And promote the gym because it's new. It's inside the building of the Dorothea Dance Lab. So it was a lot of work trying to connect with the schools, high school, middle school, because we mostly have young people, young adults.
Right.
They come to the gym. Mostly are teenagers, but sometimes we have also a little, because we start at 6-7 years old to up. So sometimes we also have a little kids, and they come to train boxing.
That's really good.
Yeah, I was just done working with Anybody Can Use Foundation in Market Street.
You were working at the job.
Yeah,
you were-
I was at the job because every other Saturday I worked there for a special boxing class for a special group of youth. And and I was driving back home.
This was in the morning or at night?
That was in an afternoon. It was around 2:30 p.m. And I was driving back home, but from Market Street, I turn right to keep the freeway. But that day, I just decided to go torso to downtown, so I was going straight because it was a beautiful day. I remember that weekend was sunny and hot. It was a beautiful day, and I was like, I'm tired. I just finished to work. It's Saturday, it's a weekend. I think I deserve a little bit of time, and I was thinking to go to Seaport Village just a little bit with the bike and have a ride. And but when I arrived between Market Street and the 21st, I don't know what happened because I was going straight. You know, you look straight, and at the very last minute, I don't know, this car came from nowhere. I literally didn't see this car. Also because Market Street is really like up and down. And sometimes you cannot, like, especially on the intersection. I wasn't at the intersection yet. So I saw this car at the very last minute, but I don't know where this car was come from. Like, I don't know how to explain it. And sometimes I also get confused because after the trauma and the accident, it's not really. And then it's a second, you know. You can't really realize.
Right.
The only thing that I realized was the pain because I was driving and this car came into me on the left. So probably she was turning on the left and I was going straight and it hit me the leg and I literally felt the hit on the car on my leg. And because you think, right, because you're on the bike, so my leg was in between the bike and the car. So it hit me and then I roll off the bike. I remember, I don't know, 3 or 4 times I roll. And it was so painful, I start to scream so much. And I realized oh no, my leg is broken. But I was also thinking, God, please don't let me like lose the leg. I was really worried for the leg. And well, since I started to scream, a lot of people came around me to help me. And then I guess they called, somebody called the police and the ambulance. They also asked me several questions. I didn't pass out at all. Wow. No, I think the adrenaline was so high and I was so in pain then. And I don't know what happened while I was rolling, but I had my leg, because it was broken, right? I broken the femur. So I had my leg here holding it. And the foot, the foot was, I lost a lot of blood because of the foot. The foot was completely smashed and open and all the blood came. Yeah, I have a flash.
You were able to see this.
Really. I just have a flash of the foot. Then I don't know if I was with the high clothes, but I was still screaming. And there were a guy from the church. They told me that later because there is a church close by. and I had his hand on my hands, and he was trying to help me, say, God is with you, God is with you, don't worry. Then I was so in pain. And then they asked me an emergency number. So fortunately, I gave a name, and because my phone was on my pocket, it was completely broken. But I had the backpack from the work, and there was was the office phone. Unfortunately, it was still intact.
Yeah.
Yes, and there was the emergency number was on that phone. So they called Terence, which is my coworker, and the executive director of Anybody Can Use Foundation, and so from there, I don't know the time, how much time passed, but I think it was pretty quick. The ambulance came and they helped me to go to the ambulance. The cop was a police officer too. He started to ask me questions, and I respond to all the questions. I don't know, my brain, I mean, the helmet that I had did a good job. It protected me a lot, and also I had a motorcycle jacket with all the protection. But that day I was with the tennis shoes. That's why my foot, I couldn't save my foot. Usually I have the boots, but because I was working as a trainer at that moment, I didn't change. I was just going home, you know. And then I remember when I was on the ambulance, I guess they gave me the morphine and all the medication that I was needing at that moment, because they straightened my leg at some point, and I was like, "Do you guys straighten my leg?" And they was like, "Yes, your leg is straight." I was like, "Thank you." I felt so good in that moment, because I was like with the leg here, and when they transport me inside the ambulance was a little bit painful. And then they transport me on the best hospital ever, like the UCSD in Hillcrest. They have the best trauma team, and all the doctors and the surgeons and the nurses, oh my gosh, they did a really good job to help me in any way it was possible.
It was a great hospital.
It's the best hospital in California. Like, literally, I felt like in a 5-star hotel. Yes, even with the food. And then I remember my first surgery was on the femur Saturday. Immediately when I was on the hospital, I had the first surgery on my femur, because my femur was fractured in 2 parts, close to the knee and here close to the hip. So fortunately now the leg is fine. It's still painful a little bit because it takes at least 3 months to heal completely. But the leg is functional and is fine with this surgery. I have a bunch of screws here that sometimes pulling me and is annoying, but it's normal. And then when I woke up from the surgery, when I woke up, and I was in a very small room, but it's okay. So now when I woke up, the doctor came and they talked to me about the situation and what was going on, and talked to me about the foot. I was with the cast on the leg up to the foot, only my toes, they were like free. And I was with the cast because then they explained me that the foot was completely open, so to keep the foot closed, they had to close, to fold my skin and keep it in place, and then they put the cast. The miracle was that they asked me, "Can you move the toes?" And I was able to move the toes. And they said it was a miracle. Well, I asked, "How's that possible?" And they told me, "Well, you still have a circulation." But also the nerves was still working, because otherwise how can we move any other part of our body? And but the bones, the foot itself was mashed. All the bones were destroyed, and they showed me the pictures. They took the picture when I was in the surgery room, and the foot inside it was impossible to save it. Or the minimum percentage of saving the foot was just having like several surgery. They talk about at least 7.
Wow.
And they suggest me just to amputate it because it was fast, less painful, less stressful, and they didn't know how my foot will be anyway.
How did you take these news while you were in the hospital?
Sorry, say
How
again?
did you take this news?
This news.
How
Well,
did it make you feel?
at first I was like, can I have time to think about it?
Right.
Because it was the same day of the accident and the surgery on the femur, and I lost a lot of blood. I couldn't stay awake. I was white and like always like falling asleep. And Terence was with me. Fortunately, the person was with me, and I was just thinking, I need to talk with my parents. I had to contact them,
They were
and I
in
lost
Rome?
my phone. They were in Rome, and I lost my phone. So all the numbers were well, not lost. My phone was broken, and all the numbers were there, and I was, traumatized. I can't remember everything. Um, but we find a solution through Instagram with the friends of mine. She contacted them, and so after there was a little bit of tragedy, even in Rome, that was difficult to try to contact them and the friends and everybody. But then we found them, and so I just took my time and I talked with them. And at first they were freaking out, of course.
Of course. And they flew over.
Yeah, so Saturday they just infused me with more blood, and after a little bit I couldn't, be more awake and think better, because again I was losing a lot of blood, so it was difficult to try to do anything. And so the day after, Sunday, the doctor came again to talk to me about what you did decide and blah blah blah. And I was able to talk with my parents, and at first they were like, well, but if you can move the toes, I mean, are you sure there is nothing we can do? And the doctor said, no, it's just a miracle. And then I don't know, I don't want to suffer, I don't want to have other. If I did amputate my foot, I was still in the hospital now, because 7 surgery you're not doing back to back. And I don't know. And I also talking now with other people that had my same problem. Some of them, they spend like more than 90 days try to do everything for them leg and foot, and at the end they have to amputate. So I was like, I just kept the best decisions.
Yeah.
Yes. And also, I had to sign all the permission for them, so they were waiting for me, otherwise they couldn't do the surgery. And and then I called other friends, because that night was terrible, and fortunately I have really close friends who spent the night with me. But everything went well, and after was a little bit painful, and because of that, they put me inside the leg, the things that is called nerve block. So it's a little, like, very thin cables that block the nerve of the legs to don't feel pain.
I see. Because you're...
Oh my gosh, it was painful. The first night was really painful. I felt like everything was numb and pumped and hot and pressured me. And it was too painful that the medication, they were not enough, so they put me this nerve block. And I had the nerve block for 5 or 6 days, because I stay on the hospital for 10 days. And I was always with the nerve block. There was no way that they kept the nerve block off of me. So I spent those 6 days with the nerve block, and then we tried, because I was better, I was pain-free. Of course, I was keep taking the medication, but I was pain-free mostly of the time. And in the meantime, I also started physiotherapy at the hospital. And at first was a little bit difficult. After...
What was your state of mind during that time?
I was okay, because all the people around me, they were so worried. Some of them, they were crying, and I was the strong rock to try to support them, not literally to try to support them, because I don't want them be so worried. I'm alive, and that's the important things. I'm still alive, all my body's fine. I had 3 fractures on the back, but I'm taking care of that. Just the finger is broken. So everything else is fine. I'm alive. There was important things, and there was the main things for me to stay strong enough to support them. And I was like, no, don't be worried for me. It's okay. I mean, it's not your fault. It's not anybody's fault. It's okay.
You're comforting others of your
Yes,
situation.
yes, totally. And I had so much support to everybody that for me it was so motivated. It was like, oh my gosh, I have so many friends, they love me, and they're coming here. At some point, they're coming on the hospital, like back to back, I couldn't have time to rest.
Yeah.
And it was so amazing. There was like, oh my gosh.
So
yes.
I imagine the hard part would be coming home and being alone. Was that hard for you?
Not really,
That
because
wasn't
because my parents came and then
I
they
see.
helped me like all the time.
Okay.
Yeah, they helped me out all the time. It was really hard for them, especially because they were in Rome and they had to organize everything at the last minute and flew here. It's like 13 hours flights, and they were tired and the jet lag. But when they saw me, they were like, oh, okay, but she seems like fine. It's just, the food.
Yeah.
It's a big deal, but I was like
what I'm trying
looking
to
fine.
understand is it because you're still running on adrenaline and you're, because you seem to me you're a very strong person, very determined, very disciplined, but you do have your challenges. There's so much weight that we can carry for sure.
Yes, yes. Well, when I started to do physiotherapy, my strength, my power in that moment was because I was on the bed like for 3-4 days like that without move, because of the back was pain. I couldn't move, and the leg was so painful. Every inch of moving was like a pain. So when they decided to let me do physiotherapy, I was like, yes, I want to get out of the bed. And that gave me the strength to do it. Yeah, and then I kept going. So the first time I just, from laying down, I sit on the bed. That was my first day of physiotherapy. Yeah. The second day, I start to walk with the walker. And it was really hard because I was dizzy and I had a lot of nausea, between medication, and I'm moving for 3 or 4 days, But after that, like day by day, I just be better and better and better, and I felt like, okay, I can do it. I can do more. I can do this. I feel good. Yeah. Finally, I can stand up. So every day, I was walking up. Every step was going up, not down anymore.
What was your lowest point, do you think, in this journey? What's the hardest thing?
Well, now that I realize, maybe before I was like still not really realize what was going on. But now that I'm home, yes, I have my parents. They help me with everything, and it's great. Sometimes too much, because I still want to try to be independent, but it's not really possible, of course. I'm working with the crutches, and I have a walker, but because of my spine fracture, sometimes it's hard, and I had to be really careful. But in the morning when I woke up in the morning, and the first thing you do is go into the bathroom, just drink a glass of water, and I really would like to stand up. I use my leg. Sometimes in the morning is the tough time of the day, because then I have a lot of stuff to do and friends that are still coming over to visit me. But in the morning, I have this walker in front of my bed, and was like, gosh, now I had to stand up, walk step by step, a little step to go to the bathroom. Because also without a foot, you don't have anything that goes on the ground, right? So my hip is like the leg is going down. I had to remember to try to straighten the hip up, so the leg has to be a little bit bent. I'm really lucky. I'm glad that I have a knee. The knee is helpful a lot. But yeah, I had to adjust my hip, and I see myself, I'm so skinny, and I'm losing my muscles, and it's nothing I can do. That's the worst part for me, like losing all my muscles.
All the hard work you've done over the years.
Yeah. You exactly. You do like so hard work every day, and then after 3 weeks, it's gone. Only for 3 weeks. Even like I had the cast on my wrist before, because they think my wrist was broken as well, and I have the cast for 2 weeks. Then I had the X-ray again, and they just saw, no, it's fine, it's not broken.
Yeah.
And my wrist, my arm is so thin, just for 2 weeks for having the cast.
What keeps you going? What motivates you?
Try to come back. I want to dance. I want to do everything I was doing before. I want to come back. I want to hang out with my friends. I want to try to be able to modeling again and to do the things that I was doing before. Yeah, because most of the time I'm home, and sometimes I fall asleep. I take a lot. I never take naps. Never in my life, because I don't like to take nap in an afternoon. I'm so active. I don't like to waste time. I'm always something to do. So that's the hard part. And seeing myself on the mirror, that I'm changing a lot. As I lost a lot of weight, I'm still eating, but my appetite is not really good yet.
You're recovering.
Yeah.
You're
It takes time. Especially for the spine now. I'm wearing the brace, and I have to keep this for at least 9 weeks more. It's like it takes, for the fracture, it takes 12 weeks in total. So it's almost a month. So other 8-9 weeks, I have to be really careful. So I can't twist, I can't bend, and
You mentioned that you're lucky, but I feel that we make our own luck. I mean, it's because you were strong. It's because you had a physique that you were able to take that amount of damage.
Yes,
And
exactly, yes.
recover this fast.
Exactly. Yeah, the doctor mentioned that too. Yes. At first he was like, you're fine for the back here. You're fine. You have a lot of muscles. The muscles saved me during the accident as well. They protect me a lot.
Right.
They protect me a lot. Yeah.
I'm not saying, that it's not, I'm also Catholic, and I do believe in God and I pray, but I feel that God gives you these talents, it gives you the stamina, it gives you the spirit to move forward, and I feel that that's how you're moving forward as well.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes I feel guilty. I was thinking recently, and I talked with my mom as well, feel a little bit guilty about maybe I didn't trust God enough about my foot, because I was still able to move the toes.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe a miracle could save my foot, and I just decide the easy way is to amputate my foot. I don't know. It was already a miracle to move the toes, and I was like, maybe I didn't trust him. I don't know. But in that moment was the only solution for me.
Of course, it's very human.
I was in pain, and I don't want to suffer again. Yeah.
No, I mean, you're not asking for my opinion, but I feel that God put you in the best hospital. It's just what you're telling me.
Mm-hmm.
You're telling me that you have a knee. So God give you a lot of tools there. He doesn't do it for us, but he puts all these elements in.
And I'm already seeing very, very good things that are coming and that are here.
I hear you're getting prostheses.
The prosthetic, yes. I will have the first appointment in 5 days, June the 6th, on a facility in La Mesa. But we'll be just like a conversation about what we'll be having the prosthetic, and they had to take the measurement on the leg and the other foot for sure. But it's something very, will be something very simple. It's not the final one, because I can't have the weights on my leg here yet. Still healing, and it's painful. So the doctor said they're gonna give me a prosthetic that will be very, very tight here on the knee, on the leg that I have, so I can support and I can stand up without having the weights on the leg. So we'll be the very first one, rudimental, basic, I guess. They say it's not fancy, because the leg with the time is still swollen a little bit. So with the time, it's gonna be thinner, and the swollen is gonna go down, and we had to model in the leg. I still have, I just took off the stitches like a week ago.
Oh, wow.
So it's still healing. So it's still healing.
So what's the future for you?
The future, I'm not sure, but I guess would be, everything is new for me. So it's a new journey, it's a new life. the idea that I have is it would take 1 year for me to have different prosthetic because they have to change it and to have a final one. And every time I had to learn how to use it, how to walk, if I can work out with the prosthetic. And then when I will have the prosthetic on the leg, will be painful at first because the body has to adapt. And with the time, I will have like a callus on the leg
Right.
that are gonna absorb and protect, but it takes time.
Of course.
It would take time, and I had to work out in different way than before until I will have the very last one, but it would take 1 year. So it would be one very tough year, and I had to stay strong and keep going. I don't want to go down. This is another part of my attitude and my personality, because if you go down and the body, the brain and the body stressed, it doesn't help at all. You don't want to create cortisol, or you have, because if the body is stressed, it's not gonna grow your muscles, your mental health is gonna go down,
Right.
and everything is gonna slow down. So I'm strong by myself, but sometimes it's also forcing me to don't go down. I don't want to go down because I want to heal fast. I want to recover fast, and I want to skip some step because I know I'm determined. I'm a trainer already.
Because you have these thoughts, right? It's
Yes,
very human.
yes,
It's these very
every
thoughts
time.
that you're not good enough, that why this happened to me, or all these things, these thoughts.
Yes, sometimes I think about what is happened, why, and for everything there is a reason. And I'm having a good friends. I met very other good friends that are close to me that I didn't expect at all in San Diego, because I'm always struggling to have close friends in San Diego, because I'm from Rome. We have other, other type of style of life, and it's completely different. So I always struggling with friendship here. But now and it surprises me, because sometimes I'm thinking, why you guys are. I lost the foot, I'm not the same, and why you guys love me so much is I feel like I'm different now, and I don't know, it's weird. It's weird that I don't have a foot, but in the same times I'm having so much love
I think that's
around me.
I think that's where God is. We want to make this angel or this miracle, but it's through that energy of love where.
I started physiotherapy at the hospital, and now since I'm home, I'm doing physiotherapy once a week. I'm going to studios in La Jolla, and they teach me what to do, what I had to do. And I have an application on the phone with all the instructions from them, and I work on that exercises every day, at least twice per day. Yeah.
And you're getting your prostheses.
Yeah, I will have my first appointment June the 6th. I'm really excited. Is the very first prosthetic, so it's not fancy. Will be not the final one. The final one will be in 1 year.
You think with this prosthesis you'll be able to fight again? You'll be able to exercise again?
I'm not sure. We're not with the first one, I guess. Not with the first one, because this prosthesis. I can't put the weight on my leg here yet, so they tell me that I'm gonna have a prosthetic that will block here on my knee and on my leg, so it will be easier. But again, I had to learn how to use it first, how to stand up and move. It's not going to be easy. So I will be like best friends with the physiotherapist. They had to teach me what to do, and I had to practice every day. But it will be a very long journey. My final prosthetic will be more or less in 1 year. Because the leg is still swollen, and the swollen has to go down, and the shape is gonna change. I think my calf is gonna.
So right now that you're in recovery, you mentioned you're losing muscle, you're losing tone, all that hard work. But also because you had that muscle and all the hard work you did, you were able to survive.
Yes.
What other people couldn't.
Yes, exactly. My muscle saved me either during the accident and now, because it support me a lot, it protect me a lot. Even if I have this fracture on the back, I think that without muscles will be like way worse. And the other leg is fine. I had this bad accident, but the surgery on the left side because the car hit me on the leg, literally. But when I roll off to the ground, I was fine. My upper body is fine.
You mentioned you felt guilty not trying to save your leg.
Yes, it was. Yeah, sometimes I feel guilty because I was still able to move my toes, the foot, and it was already a miracle. And I don't know if, and I'm very faithful, and I don't know if at that moment I trust God enough to try to have another miracle. But since the doctor said I had to go through 7 surgeries, and they didn't know how my foot would be, I talked with my parents. I think that the best easy solution was to amputate the foot because I don't want to suffer again.
Of course.
I don't want to suffer again. And I'm still alive. That's the important things. And I can do everything. Will be just a very long and painful journey until we have my final prosthetic. But after that, I still have a support of all the friends and the parents. My parents are here. They help me a lot.
And you have a lot of friends, a lot of love surrounding you.
Yes. I'm just hoping that, like, my strength is I want to go back on whatever I was doing before. I want to dance. I want to hang out with my friends and have fun and be able to do everything. This is something that keeps me alive, and I can just keep going. I don't want to stop, because if you start to be stressed out or sad, or your mood is going to go down, and the body creates these hormones, that the stress of hormones is just like the cortisol, and it's not good. It's not something that will help you to keep going. But I don't want to stress out, because I'm determined to go and skip the steps. And because I'm losing my muscle, sometimes in the morning I feel like I'm skinny, and I don't like that. I work a lot to have the body that I had, and now just in 1 month I'm already losing everything.
What are your tools, or what do you do to cope with that on the mornings when it's harder for you?
Yeah, and the morning is the hard part for me.
What do you do? What exercise do you do? What do you say to yourself? What are your...
Well, I have a breathing exercises, first of all, that I'm doing. And then, the first impact in the morning is, oh no, I don't have a foot, but I would like to stand up and go on the bathroom like all the normal people, but I had to use this walker. And I'm not sad, but I had to do a big inhale, exhale, and I realize I can do it. And the first things that I do then are the exercises, because if I'm not doing exercises and I not keep my legs, the muscle on my legs is just gonna be worse, and I don't want to step down. I just want to go forward. And because I'm a fighter, I'm a trainer, I know I can do it, and I can do it better than other regular people, better and faster. So yes, even if I'm a little bit down in the morning, then I was like, no, I had to go. I had to do exercises and
keep yourself busy.
Yes, keep myself busy, and especially because something that not most of the people knows, I have a phantom pains on the leg. The phantom pains are interesting and fascinating, but are also annoying. They are really annoying because for the brain, I still have the foot.
Right.
For my brain, because it's something that happened recently and I can, touch the ground, I'm still have a foot. So I literally feel the pain on the foot, but the foot is not here.
Wow.
It's literally like a phantom pain, and there are some techniques, some drills for the brain that I'm doing using the mirror, or just move the other foot and touch the other leg. But sometimes, especially in the night, this is why I want to keep myself busy.
Right.
Because it's easier to don't feel it. But in the night, it's the most feelings and that I have is in the night when I had to go to bed or when I wake up in the morning. So when I wake up in the morning, I was like, no, I had to go because I don't want to feel that again.
Yeah. Wow. And you're writing a book.
Yeah, I decided to write a book since the accident happened, and I can't wait to share my journey. I'm writing like this book in details with whatever happened. And I think it will take 1 year because I want to finish until we have my final prosthetic. Because I know the journey will be very tough and painful, and I guess there is a lot to say. I don't know the future. My future is really unpredictable. I had to learn again. I'm like a kid that has to learn how to walk.
Right.
So with a different prosthetic, every time I have to learn how to use it and try to don't fail. I fell a couple times already. It was not fun. So I will have a lot to. I love to learn. It for me is like it's the terrible things that happen, but I also is fascinated what's going on, and I had to learn different things. I had to create a new life for me now, a new style and type of way to walk, to interact, to working out.
Well, all this will be in your book. That you
And
can
everything
find
will be on my book until we have my last prosthetic, and the last prosthetic will be one for walking in the regular life. We need one for running and one for lifting weights because they have different shape. You cannot do everything with one foot because the mobility and
Can you have one for fighting?
I don't know. I don't know. I will for sure do boxing. Boxing, yes, but I don't think I can do a kickboxing. But boxing, yes.
Yep.
I can do it for sure. So I'm excited for this book, for share everything with you guys. Again, it will take a little bit, but and I'm writing in English, so
Okay. That's awesome.
yeah, I decided to write in English.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And where can people follow you? Where is there
Yeah.
a website or Instagram?
Yeah, I have a website which is www.francescapt.com. And I also have Instagram as a social media, Miss Italia 31. So Miss Italia is another long story, but we're not talking about that now. And yeah, and that's it. And you can find me social media if you wanna come to my place and visit me. Everybody are welcome. Or just calling me on my website. There are all the information, even the contacts. So it would be easier to find me over there.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for coming today.
Thank
I appreciate
you.
it for being part.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.